The air in the apartment was thick with the scent of stale coffee and regret, and when I opened the door, the silence screamed louder than any argument we'd ever had. My keys clattered onto the counter, a metallic echo in the dim gray light filtering through the blinds. Sarah's coat wasn't on the rack. Her boots, usually strewn carelessly by the door, were gone. A single post-it note stuck to the fridge door fluttered as I passed, its edges curling like a confession waiting to be read. Went to Mom's. Need space. My chest tightened, a fist squeezing my lungs. Space. That word had been her weapon for weeks, sharp and vague, cutting deeper each time she wielded it. I stood frozen in our Brooklyn apartment, the one we'd painted together in a haze of laughter and cheap wine 2 years ago. The walls, once vibrant with our shared dreams, now felt like a stage set for a play that had ended without warning. I didn't touch the note. I didn't need to. Its brevity was a slap, a dismissal of the life we'd built. My fingers twitched, itching to call her to demand answers, but something heavier, dread maybe, pinned me in place. The refrigerator hummed, indifferent, as I stared at the note, its yellow square a mocking beacon in the half-light. Sarah had been distant for months, her warmth cooling like a fire left untended. It started with small things, her phone face down on the table, her late nights at the gallery where she worked, her vague excuses about client meetings that stretched past midnight. I'd rationalized it all. Her job was demanding, her art was her soul, and I was the practical one, the software engineer who paid the bills while she chased her passion. I told myself I was being paranoid, that love meant trust, not suspicion. But the doubts had grown, sprouting like weeds in the cracks of our conversations. Her laughter, once a melody that lit up my days, had become rare, replaced by sighs and silences that stretched too long. I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under my weight, and pulled out my phone. No texts, no missed calls. Just a lock screen photo of us at Coney Island last summer. Her head thrown back in laughter, my arm around her waist. The memory felt like a lie now, a snapshot from a life that no longer existed. I opened her Instagram, a habit I'd sworn I'd break. Her latest post was from yesterday, a candid shot of her at a rooftop bar, her hair catching the golden hour light, a glass of wine in her hand. The caption read, "Chasing sunsets and new beginnings." My stomach churned. The comments were a parade of heart emojis and vague compliments, but one stood out, a user named Evan Creates, with a single word, stunning. My thumb hovered over his profile, a photographer based in the city. His feed was full of moody portraits, and there in a post from last week was Sarah. Her eyes locked on the camera, a secret smile playing on her lips. The room tilted. I closed the app, my breath shallow, and tried to reason it away. She was an artist. Photographers were part of her world. But the image burned behind my eyes, her gaze too intimate, too unguarded. I stood and paced, the hardwood floor cold against my socks. The apartment was too quiet, too empty, and every corner held a ghost of her. A half-read book on the coffee table, her favorite mug in the sink, its rim stained with her lipstick. I wanted to scream, to shatter the silence, but instead, I grabbed my laptop. If she needed space, I'd give her an ocean of it. I'd dig until I found the truth. Her email was still logged in on my browser, a careless oversight from when we'd shared the laptop last month. I hesitated, my cursor hovering over the inbox. This was a line I couldn't uncross, a betrayal of my own. But the ache in my chest, the weight of her absence, pushed me forward. I typed Evan into the search bar, my hands trembling. A thread appeared, buried in a folder labeled Work. The subject lines were innocuous, project ideas, gallery collab. But the contents were a gut punch. Can't stop thinking about last night. Evan had written 3 weeks ago. You make everything feel alive. Sarah's reply was a single line. You're dangerous, but I don't want to stop. My vision blurred, tears burning as I scrolled through months of messages. Late-night meetups disguised as work. Shared playlists and inside jokes. A photo of them at a bar, his arm around her shoulders, her head tilted toward him like a flower seeking sunlight. Each word was a shard of glass, slicing through the life I thought we had. I wanted to hate her, to rage, but all I felt was a hollow ache, a grief so deep it threatened to swallow me whole. I called her. The phone rang 5 times before she picked up, her voice soft but guarded. Hey, I saw your note, I said, my tone betraying nothing. You okay at your mom's? Yeah, she said too quickly. Just needed to clear my head. Clear your head, I repeated, the words tasting bitter. From what, Sarah? From me? From us. Silence stretched across the line, heavy and suffocating. It's not like that, she said finally, her voice cracking. I don't know who I am anymore, Mark. I'm lost. Lost with Evan? The name slipped out before I could stop it, sharp and accusing. Her gasp was audible, a confession in itself. I saw the emails, I said, my voice low, trembling with a mix of anger and heartbreak. How long, Sarah? How long have you been lying? It's not what you think, she said, but her words were hollow, a reflex. He's just a friend. We connect creatively, that's all. Don't, I snapped, my restraint crumbling. Don't lie to me. Not now. I deserve the truth. The line went quiet again, and when she spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. I'm sorry, Mark. I'm so sorry. Sorry. The word was a blade twisting in my chest. I hung up, unable to bear more. The apartment closed in around me, the walls echoing with memories of her laughter, her touch, her promises. I wanted to run to her, to beg her to choose me, but I also wanted to burn every trace of her from my life. I was caught between love and rage, trust and betrayal, and the weight of it was crushing. Days later, I found the lease agreement in her desk drawer, signed for a new apartment in Manhattan. She'd been planning to leave for weeks, maybe months, while I'd been planning a future together. The betrayal wasn't just Evan. It was the life she built without me, the dreams she chased while letting mine crumble. I sat on the floor, the paper crumpled in my fist, and let the tears come. Not for her, but for the version of me who'd believed in us. The twist came a month later, when I saw her at a gallery opening I'd been invited to by a mutual friend. She was alone, her eyes red-rimmed, her smile forced. Evan was nowhere in sight. Later, I heard from a friend that he'd left her for another artist, a newer muse. Her new beginnings had collapsed, and the irony was a bitter pill. I didn't approach her. I didn't need to. The regret in her eyes as they met mine across the room was louder than any apology. I turned away, my heart scarred but unbroken, and walked into the night free of her shadow.